Hello everyone, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! Grading, and then today I'm gonna talk about some of my high-end Ultimate Rare collection I have for a while, and then most of them worth about a few $1,000 each. So let's just get on with it. So the first one I'm gonna introduce is Dark Magician, and then in the Ultimate Rare form, you can tell it's a BGS 9.5 standard, for 9.5 subgrade. And then the one thing about BGS is that you see the censoring is 9.5, and then from their grading standard is you can have like top and bottom or each side if it's 50-50, and then they can tolerate like the other side is 45 to 55 standard. So I think in this case you can tell like top and bottom are quite 50-50, and then but left and right is slightly off. It's like 45 to 55. So which this fit into the standard. And also I think people have a doubt about um the standard of the 9.5, but you can clearly see from the video here it's very clean. So I think a lot of people will think, oh well, it's the subgrade is only 9.5, there must be a flaw, or there must be something, or that's why it's 9.5, it's not 10. But it's actually I think it's actually just due to BGS is how strict they are. They normally wouldn't give out a subgrade 10. Therefore you can just tell like, oh well, it's very beautiful, but it's still a standard 9.5. Okay. So yeah, so at you know, as a part of a BGS collector, I also collect some PSA, but I just want to mention that 9.5 is very standard grade. BGS usually give to a flawless card, so you can't expect your flawless card and send it there, and then especially the vintage one like this. This is 2001, and you can't expect that. Oh well, it's flawless, so BGS must give me a BGS black 10, you know, black label or pristine 10, you know, because oh my card is flawless. It's not like it doesn't work like that. You know, it's not like PSA, you know, because PSA the max grade is 10. So even you have some defect or flaws, sometimes you get lucky for the PSA 10. So just in this case, I just think it's quite obvious that I think this guy is potentially PSA 10 as well. It's just you can't really see anything without a magnifier, you know. So are you gonna say, people probably say, oh, this is only 9.5, it's not as PSA 10, it's not as good as PSA 10. But if you've been in the hobby for a while, then you know BGS standard is actually high if it's BGS 9.5. Okay, right, so the second copy will be a Red Eye Ultimate Rare. All these are the Japanese exclusive. You don't see it in TCG, and this one is from 2002, so it was the time LOB comes out. You can see the foil. The Ultimate Rare they were printing like in this era, like series 2. This is the series 3. It's really high quality. Like it really, like, it's made in Japan. You can tell like the card quality has been done to its, you know, to its really outstanding um, quality. So yeah, that's what I want to say though. Yeah, it's also a standard 9.5, but are you gonna say, well, every subgrade shows 9.5, so that means every subgrade there's a flaw? It's not really like this. 9.5 is most of BGS 9.5, in my opinion. In Yu-Gi-Oh, I can't speak for MTG or speak for Pokemon or other cards, But in Yu-Gi-Oh, I have noticed like the standard of 9.5 is actually quite high. But I think obviously people prefer PSA 10 as PSA is older company, and if you collect 10, people will be satisfied with a max grade. But to me, it doesn't, I don't really feel like, oh, I need a 10 to satisfy it, because I know 9.5 is a very high standard. And in fact, I like 9.5 that if there's a subgrade of 9, then I can actually look into it and see what's going on, rather than if it's a PSA 10 and then or PSA 9 and people, or even PSA 8 and people just say, oh well, it must be a centering problem. That's why I knock it down to PSA 9 or 8. But in reality, in Yu-Gi-Oh grading, it's not really always the case. A lot of times, actually, there's a flaw, but PSA doesn't indicate any subgrade, so you can't find it. You have to look at very carefully. So yeah, that's just really beautiful, this card. Of course, it is worth like a few grand. Right, and then this one, I'm gonna speed up some speed. I'm just talking about some perspective from the BGS. And this one is a blue eye white dragon from 2001, Spell of Mask. And you see it's everything I have, I put on like a really tight and fit skin, the sleeves, so it's literally fits it really well. And this blue eye is a purple version. For the Ultimate Rare, there's a blue version and purple version. It's kind of like wavy and glossy. And the blue version, people pay a premium price for it from a collector point of view usually. But obviously, I've noticed the recent trend that when people collecting or investing, they don't really care about the wavy or glossy right now. They just want the label, the grade. So you can check the condition. Very clear and beautiful. Okay, next one. So this one is from the 2006. A very standard 9.5 grade again, but the card, it's flawless. Like FYI, I really like to watch the Leon Hart's Pokemon BGS return, because I like how he put his perspective in his like grading video. Like he showed the raw card at the beginning and then revealed the grade. And most of the time, if a card is really flawless and like without any ding on the Pokemon card, generally it comes back as a solid 9.5. You can't really expect like a 10, because the chance of 10 is just so low. Yeah. Clean up. Let's see. It's beautiful. Okay. And then moving on to this. This is a replica version of a World Championship card. It's actually ultra rare. In the past, like the WCS World Championship actual like prize card, they were printed in ultra rare. But now I forgot, is it since from 2018 or 17 or even 16, I'm not really sure, but they move on to the extra secret rare, and they use our rarity and print it on the price card. So the replica will be ultra rare, but personally I prefer ultra rare because it's just more, it just looks nicer. So quite a standard 9.5 as well, like for a new card. centering 9, a centering 10, really good centering. And talking about centering, like usually the PSA 10 centering guidance is 55 to 45 to 60 and 40. So that means there's a leeway. If your car is actually 60-40 centering, you can actually still get a PSA 10. So BGS is definitely way stricter on centering than the PSA, because the BGS 9.5 centering subgrade, let's just talk about subgrade, like 9.5 is already harder than the PSA 10 guidance, because it's only 55 to 45 on one side. You can't have 55 to 45 on both sides. You can only have it on one side. So this is Amatsu. It's a replica version, but it's for the Champion. You can see the condition. Okay, right, now moving on to other Ultimate Rare, such as this Black Luster Soldier. And you can see this one got a centering 9. So from the perspective, you can see left is more than right, but up on the top and bottom, I think it's quite 50-50. So to be fair, this one could potentially, I mean, it's supposed to, deserve a 9.5 on centering according to the guideline, but maybe the left and right is even more than 55 to 45. Maybe it's slightly more, therefore I get a 9 on the centering. You can see the foil is really, really nice. And then usually if you see any like dust or the scratch, usually it's on the really on the sleeves, or even just on the case. It's never really on the card. Because if there's any like a scratch or like very obvious damage on the surface, that wouldn't this wouldn't even get a surface of 9.5. That's just impossible. Because if I can see it, the grader can see it too, with even detailed equipment such as magnifier or whatever. So there's another one. So you can see this one, I was like cleaning it, so I didn't put on the sleeve, but you can tell like obviously the case is like it's a little bit rubbed, so it's like you can see that. But there's the card is inside the inner sleeve, so it's very well protected, and then it won't get any damage. You see, there's like some dust. You just like take it off. So this one, the surface get 9. Let's try to find out the reason. It's really beautiful on the front. What's the back? Sometimes really hard to tell like on the surface subgrade, because obviously surface is the entire card, so it's it's very difficult to tell. I don't know, like, that's a scratch on the case. I don't know about this one, but is it on the, it's on the inner sleeve or not? Not really sure. But yeah, this is one of the reasons I prefer BGS over PSA 10 is that, like, even though yes, the corner 9.5, edge 9.5, and I can't really find any defect on the card, but it's just 9.5. I'm not claiming to be like, oh, everything subgrades 10 is like perfect to its finest. Like, I can't say, oh, it's so perfect that you can't see anything, because it's just 9.5. You know, it's not I'm not claiming to be a 10 quality. So that's why I'm like, I can accept, well, it's 9.5, it's still like gemming graded, and then the card is, you know, as perfect as it can be. But I'm not gonna claim, oh, it's a black label or pristine 10 quality that, oh, you know, so perfect. But whereas PSA 10, obviously, you know, if you cross PSA 10 to Beckett, usually they get 9.5, you know. But are you gonna say, oh, because they got the subgrade of 9.5, so there's an issue, or, you know, etc. like that? Right, this one. This is from 2002. It's also a black luster soldier. Let's clean it a little bit. So yeah, I can't see anything. Standard BGS 9.5. So it's all sleeved up. Let's check condition. Some dust here. Very beautiful. So sometimes I notice that in BGS, if the ultimate rare is printed so hard, and then on the back, if it actually create like a square, you know, the image of a square seems, if it's too obvious, potentially sometimes the subgrade can get knocked to a 9, even though it's a flawless card. But that's just something, if you send to BGS, you will notice. Okay, that's another one. Summoner Score. All this, you know, rare, like ultimate rare, they're all Japanese exclusive. So there's some white dot here, which can be removed and cleaned. So let's check condition. It's really beautiful, flawless. It's really good. Alright, let's move on to the next one. The Blue Eye Ultimate Dragon from 2003. So all these cards are very, very old, like 18 years, 19 years old. Some of it's even like almost 20 years old. And this one is almost BGS 10. If any subgrades, edge or surface get bump 0.5, then the overall grade will be a pristine. Let's see if we can find any issue on surface or edges. It's very difficult to see anything. Like obviously there's a little bit dirty on the sleeve or on the case. I can't see any issue. So yeah, so this is what I mean. Card like this, perfect. With my eyes, from my eyes perspective, but it doesn't guarantee anything about Black Label or BGS 10. And then something like this jamming graded, it's satisfying, because already it's so perfect and high subgrade, and it's really good quality. So for this kind of a grade, there's no need to say, oh well, I still need a PSA 10, or just because I need a 10 to satisfy the OCD problem. It's not like that. Okay, move on. It's Ultimate Dragon as well. It's a Ghost Rare one. Let's see if you can see the image and pop like this. Beautiful. This is like fairly new print, 2015. Check the condition. Really nice. The corner get a 9. Let's see if we can examine the issue. The only part I can physically see with my eyes is probably this corner on the right, bottom right, due to the cut-in. It's nothing like human damage there. It's just due to the factory cut-in. But you see, like, even this kind of cut-in, it can sometimes BGS can be so strict that, and then give it a corner 9. Yeah, so I just the standard of BGS. That's what I like about it. I want my car to be as flawless as it can be when it's being graded. I don't want to have too much leeway. I can't distinguish 9 or 10, or just purely just population control, which some of the PSA 9 car can be better than PSA 10, and in my opinion that's nonsense. There's always an error, human error, that everyone can accept that, but if the error is just only due to the population control, then it really sucks. Okay, so we're almost done. So this is a traditional Chinese. I mean, there are some simplified Chinese car, but there are also traditional Chinese car. It's quite short printed, and not many people actually have it. And this one is actually graded 9.5 as well. Fairly new, 2014, 6 years ago. So the car quality should be good, but it's very standard 9.5. Like surface, it always look quite nice, but like it's just really hard to get a subgrade 10. Let's see. Yeah. It's very well, very nice. Obviously, I think with this traditional Chinese car, when they're printing, because it's not made in Japan, so the quality wise, it will be below a Japanese made card. And like, I think if you look really closely here, you can see a slight cutting, like factory cutting. It's very tiny, but as you can see, a grade is an edge 9.5, corner 9.5. I'm not gonna claim, well, they are both subgrade 10, and but there's a white dot or something like that. you know, it's 9.5, so it's still beautiful, but 9.5 is never a 10. It's different. But I'm very satisfied with this grade. Right, the last card. It's a red eye. It's also a traditional Chinese one, short printed. Also a very standard 9.5 grade, full subgrade 9.5. Let's see. It's kind of like dirty on this case, even though I already put on sleeve, but sleeve can get dirty. This is on the sleeve, like, you know, sleeve get a bit wrinkle here. And then here I noticed this is one thing I have like when you sub with BGS, like it occasionally happen. I think it's a plastic inside the case. It occasionally happen, but it does happen because, you know, it's just plastic. Unless like if they started making the glass case, then maybe they can, you know, make it really beautiful, but it's unrealistic. But even glasses, then maybe it can be a shattered glasses and then actually damaged card. But I think this is not inside. I don't think it's inside the inner sleeve. Maybe it's attached on the outside of the inner sleeve. But nevertheless, it's not on the card. So anyway, all the card I have shown, like I show like very clearly with the condition and explanation. They are all up for sale. And then so if you have anything you are interested, and then you have a question about it, or you want more photos or videos, just DM me on my Instagram, or you can just offer me on my eBay. I have already put them up on the eBay, and feel free to put a price and offer. So thank you very much. Bye bye.